I want you to picture two men standing in the same rain. One of them is holding an umbrella he borrowed. The other is holding one he built. Same rain, same shelter, but only one of them owns the dry ground he's standing on. It's not the watch on my wrist right now. It's a single decision made 1,000 times a day about whether you see yourself as a tenant in your own life or the landlord of it. I didn't always think this way. I grew up watching my father clock in and clock out of a job he hated. For a company he didn't own, building a dream that wasn't his. He worked 31 years for that company. 31 years. And when they let him go, they gave him a handshake and a cardboard box. That day I made myself a promise. I would never again build someone else's empire with my one and only life. Years later, I read a book that changed everything. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the lesson wasn't about real estate or stocks or any specific asset. The lesson was this: the poor work for money, the middle class work for security, but the wealthy work to acquire ownership. Kiyosaki drew a simple line between an asset and a liability. An asset puts money in your pocket while you sleep. A liability takes it out. Most people spend their whole life accumulating liabilities dressed up as rewards and calling it success. Here's what nobody tells you about employees, even brilliant ones. An employee mind asks, what do I need to do today to keep this job? An owner mind asks, what do I need to build today so I never need this job? Thomas J. Stanley spent years studying self-made millionaires for his book, The Millionaire Next Door, and what he found broke every stereotype. Most wealthy people weren't flashy. They weren't inheritors. They were quiet owners of businesses, of properties, of equity, who lived below their means so they could keep buying pieces of the machine instead of just running on it. That's the shift. An employee trades hours for dollars. An owner trades ownership for freedom. Hours run out. Ownership compounds. I remember the first time I owned equity in something. A small stake in a business I helped build from nothing. It wasn't much, but I felt something I'd never felt collecting a paycheck. I felt the future belonged to me a little bit. That feeling is addictive. Once you taste ownership, you can never go back to just renting your time. Now listen closely, because this is where most people get it wrong. They think ownership starts with money. It doesn't. Ownership starts with responsibility. An owner takes responsibility for outcomes he didn't directly cause. A renter blames the landlord, the market, the economy, the boss. An owner looks at a broken system and asks, how do I fix this? Not, whose fault is this? Napoleon Hill wrote about this concept nearly a century ago in Think and Grow Rich. He called it a definite chief aim, the idea that wealth begins as a mental posture before it ever becomes a financial position. You have to think like you already own the outcome, long before the bank statement agrees with you. I run every part of my life this way now. My health, I own it, so I don't blame genetics. My relationships, I own my role in them, so I don't blame the other person entirely. My business, I own every result, good or bad, because the moment I start blaming external forces, I've handed my power back to someone else. That's what separates a billionaire from a bystander. Bystanders watch the economy happen to them. Owners go find where the economy is happening, and they take a stake in it. An owner builds systems. A renter sells hours. There's a reason I don't chase every dollar personally anymore. I build machines, teams that chase dollars while I sleep, while I travel, while I sit right here talking to you. Warren Buffett once said something that stuck with me for life. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. He wasn't being poetic. He was giving you the entire blueprint in one sentence. Every asset I own today started as a decision to stop trading my time and start building a structure that could outlive my effort. Rental properties don't need me awake to collect rent. Equity doesn't need me present to appreciate. A well-built team doesn't need me micromanaging to execute. This is the real meaning of leverage, not just financial leverage, but the leverage of systems that work independently of your personal energy. Renters have income. Owners have infrastructure. Ownership is also patient in a way employment never has to be. When you're employed, the reward comes every 2 weeks, like clockwork, whether you grew or not. When you own something, the reward comes when the asset matures, and that could be years. This is why so many people quit right before ownership pays off. They plant the seed, and 3 months in, when nothing visible is happening, they dig it back up looking for roots, and they kill it. Benjamin Graham, who mentored Buffett himself, built his entire philosophy around one idea. In the short run, the market is a popularity contest, but in the long run, it's a weighing machine that measures real value. Ownership works the same way in life, not just in stocks. In the short run, people will misjudge you, undervalue you, overlook the thing you're building. But give it enough time, and the truth of what you built gets weighed correctly. I lost money before I made it. I built 2 businesses that failed quietly before I built the one that didn't. But every single failure, I owned it. I studied it, I extracted the lesson and moved forward with more precision. That's what ownership demands. Not perfection, but responsibility across time. So here is what I want you to walk away with tonight. You do not need millions to start thinking like an owner. You need to stop asking, what can I get from this, and start asking, what can I build with this? You need to stop waiting for permission to matter and start taking responsibility for outcomes before you're even certain you'll win. Buy the smallest piece of something real, if that's all you can afford right now. A share of a company.
A skill you fully own and can license to the world. A side business, however small, that answers to nobody but you.
Because the size of the ownership doesn't matter nearly as much as the identity shift that comes with holding it. The 2 men standing in the rain, the tenant and the owner, they didn't start that different. One of them just decided, at some point, to stop borrowing shelter and start building it. Decide that today. Decide it before you have the money to prove it. Because I promise you, the money always follows the mindset. It has never once worked the other way around. Before you go, if this changed the way you see money, even a little, hit like right now, subscribe to this channel, and drop a comment below. See you in the next one.